don't care about us. We build their roads and we fight all their wars and everything. They don't care about us. We have to pick up after them. We have to eat their table scraps. That's how it is.
How on earth did I forget this little speech, and why is the Vulture not remembered as one of the best MCU villains? Recently I got this comment saying that a lot of MCU villains are subtle, which may have been more correct than I initially thought. With the next Spider-Man coming up, by the way, it was awesome, I went back to rewatch the first two, partly because a certain dear friend hadn't seen them, and the big surprise was actually Homecoming. I remembered really liking it when it was new, but it just sat in my mind as a pretty good film and nothing else. Which, just to be clear, is all a movie needs to be, but this scene with Toombs actually pushes the movie, albeit briefly, into some very interesting territory. Toombs is almost a twisted Robin Hood, and a big chunk of the film is from his perspective. Like so many others, he's legitimately suffered in the wake of the changes the world of the MCU has undergone, and is too small to matter in the grand scheme of things, the opening shots framing his perspective beautifully by placing him at the foot of Stark Tower, tramping through the rubble left by the Battle of New York to make a living only to have it taken away by government officials, setting up the motivation which he explains to Peter later in the film.
Those people, Pete, those people up there, the rich and the powerful, they do whatever they want. Guys like us, you and me, they don't care about us.
The thing here is, Toombs' argument isn't like Osborn's rooftop chat with Maguire's Spider-Man about what a Superman should do, or even Obadiah Stane's desire for Tony's arc reactor. Toombs' point is grounded and sadly all too true in our real world. But let's just look at the movie. Toombs' point adds flesh to the entire film because he's right, but also kind of wrong too. Tony Stark, the main target of Toombs' speech, has already, time and again, noted his own flawed worldview and past, and from the first film has had to live with that knowledge, even when trying to undo it. In fact, in Homecoming, Tony is still trying to atone for his past. His mentorship of Peter is just one more way of doing so. That's why this scene hits so hard.
I just wanted to be like you.
It's working. We're safe. America is secure. You want my property? You can't have it. But I did you a big favor. I have successfully privatized world peace.
So you're going for artificial intelligence and you don't want to tell the team?
That's right. You know why? Because we don't have time for a city hall debate. I don't want to hear the man was not meant to meddle medley.
I see a suit of armor around the world.
Ultron.
There's only one path to peace. The Avengers' extinction.
We need to be put in check. Whatever form that takes, I'm game. If we can't accept limitations, we're boundaryless, we're no better than the bad guys. And I wanted you to be better.
As Happy put it in Far From Home, Tony was all over the place, a mess. In fact, the way he pulls Peter, a kid, into the Civil War is almost spot on the kind of thing Toombs is criticizing him for. Except that Stark does in fact care enough to listen to Parker and does in fact bother to get the FBI to focus on Toombs and shows up in person when that goes south. Whatever his past, Stark has become the big guy who does care about the little guy. But the damage people like Stark can do isn't easily undone, and Toombs is the representation of those mistakes, repeating them in his own way by selling weapons, albeit with a more honest view of himself than what Stark had. That's the other reason Toombs is well written. Unlike Tony, who performed mental gymnastics but truly never really thought about what he was doing, Toombs has no pretensions. He's doing what he does for his family, and he really only cares about that, making his motives humanized rather than simply villainous. In fact, I think he was completely sincere when he told Peter he would never forget that he saved Liz, and probably didn't want to fight him, since they're both blue-collar guys ducking their heads in a crazy world. And I think he was just as serious about his threats, too. Because when the big guys don't care and hoard the scraps for themselves, what choice is there but to scavenge the carcass of untold riches to survive? Like a vulture. The bright spot of the movie, however, is that each new life represents a chance at change. Despite the mistakes and rivalries of the past, the future lies with the young. Peter is naive, yes. He makes mistakes, yes. He means well, just like Stark and Toombs, though he also has the faith of a child.
You're young.
You don't understand how the world works.
Yeah, but I understand that selling weapons to criminals is wrong.
Something that Stark himself had to rediscover, and maybe whatever we do, it's never too late to make a right choice.
I shouldn't be alive. Unless it was for a reason. I'm not crazy, Pepper. I just finally know what I have to do. And I know in my heart that it's right.
Anyway, this is all just my opinion. Let me know yours in the comments, subscribe, and share, and I'll see you next time. Thanks for watching.